Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's edition of the Divine Feminine Rebirth Show. I'm very happy to be joining all of you live, or if you're watching on replay, hi to all of you. And I'm here with two beautiful goddesses to accompany me on this journey where we're going to talk about all about the eclipse season. So we're already in the orb of influence of the eclipse season, so we're already feeling the first hints of what shows up in our lives to be transformed. So we're going to be talking about astrology, pulling cards, and also talking about personal experience. So I think it's going to be a great show. Let me start by welcoming those beautiful goddesses. So let's start with Elena. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. Hello, Julie. Hello, Sol. Hello, everybody. I'm doing well. I feel like my cycle is moving a lot. This week, on a personal note, my cycle has changed a lot. So I feel like I need to purge very fast before this new moon that is coming. That's a feeling I have. Usually on new moon, I don't have that type of feeling, but I feel like this one, there's something very strong that it's coming.
Very interesting. And also, us women were connected to the cycles of the moon. So it's interesting also that you feel this need to purge before also the eclipse, which is going to be a big purging energy in the sign of Pisces. We're going to be talking about that. Hi, Sol. How are you doing? What's up with you on the other side of the planet?
Hey girls, I'm doing really well, thanks. And hello to our gorgeous soul family. I feel like I'm kind of missing the big purge and the cleanup. I almost feel like I'm sort of picked up or in the sky, and a lot of stuff's being rearranged and organized underneath or around me, but I kind of feel untouched by it. So I'm seeing chaos and things unfold, and I'm being a big support to like a lot of family and friends going through things like that. Over here in Australia, just within probably the last just couple of weeks, we've heard of a lot of deaths happening, which is really interesting, and a lot of people finding other people passed. So whether this is a flow-on effect from things that we know were experimental in the last couple of years, so like I am seeing strangeness unfold in that way. At the same time, what I'm doing to balance and support is just really focusing on breathing. Meditation at the moment is really, really one of the must-haves. And we're doing just the last maybe 3 days or 4 days now, we've been doing more than half our meals raw vegan. So we're doing like a lot more fresh salads and things like that, as well as like doing proteins and a bit more smoothies. And yeah, I'm doing another drink at the moment that's coconut water, cayenne pepper, and really strong concentrate of lemons. So that's also really good. So I'm doing like an internal cleanse.
Interesting. So I love that because I feel like you're so knowledgeable on wellness and health, and so you're feeling to. It's interesting also because we're in Virgo season, which is the season of purging and health. So I guess it's very natural that you feel this urge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and hi to all the beautiful souls joining us tonight. There's a lot of you. We're very happy to be in your presence. Thank you so much for joining us. So I wanted to share something with you guys that I don't think I've shared with you, Sol. I have been doing a lot of like research about where do I want to go for my solar return. So my solar return is going to be exact on the Virgo new moon, so on September 2nd this year. And as I was talking about it in the solar return workshop, because I took my example to show the people like what kind of options were good, what were not so good for a solar return. And I finally chose to travel to Peru for my solar return. Yeah. So I've always wanted to go to Machu Picchu. So apparently I've been watching lots of YouTube videos about like locals and foreigners as well visiting Machu Picchu. And I've been starting a book on that. And apparently it's super intense, like energetically speaking, like you're supposed to be like a totally new person when you come back from there. Yeah. Have you heard that, Sol? Because you seem to...
Yeah.
You seem to
So I know a gorgeous woman who does crystals and things that's from Peru, and the Nazca mummies from Peru and things as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what you pick up from a nature spirit level. But I've heard the veil is super thin over there. And even when I had ayahuasca experience, for some weird reason, it actually took me to the Nazca lines in Peru. But just when you started talking about it, I saw all these different things pop up in your aura. I saw tons of blue and green. Actually, it's similar colors to the crystal that I've got here. So I do feel you're going to be more connected to the earth when you come back, to the mother, and to that essence of being one with her. So I just feel like your intuition's going to go through the roof. But yeah, even the walking tracks and things, it's like we're letting go of the past as we walk on some of these places, is what I've heard, and that you emerge almost like a snake shedding the skin.
Yeah, that makes so much sense though, because also it will coincide with the south node connected to Venus and Lilith. So it's like a big purging energy of like all, let's say, a lot of past lifetimes as repressed feminine energy as well, and also from this lifetime, whatever experience we've been experiencing. And I was reading a book of a woman going up on like one of the mountains of Machu Picchu, and she was saying that she saw like all of her past being like healed and transformed. She was able to let go of a lot of like burdens. And also she was saying in the book that I'm reading, and it's far away now, but it's something like Shamanic Mysteries of Peru. And she said that since from the moment like you decide to embark on a journey, you book your flight or you're decided committed and going there, like you start being, transformed energetically in preparation to the trip. And as soon as I booked, like I feel like I'm constantly dizzy, or like my third eye is opening somewhat. I feel something strange already going on. So I can't wait to experience and tell you guys all about it. So thank you for joining us. And I will come back with a lot more information about all the mysteries of Peru and Machu Picchu and my experience about it. And I think it's timely because tonight we're going to talk about big transformations and the portal of a transformation that the eclipses are. So big, let's say, life events tend to coincide with the portals of eclipse seasons. And we're already within the portal right now. The first eclipse is going to be on September 17. And let us know if you guys have personal questions also, or questions about the collective regarding the eclipses. I'm going to put them on standby. And if we have time at the end, we're going to get to your questions. Yay. Yeah, everybody says super fun. Yeah, Corinne says shamanism is really fascinating. And yes, please let us know all about it. I will. So first of all, of course, if you want to support us, the easiest way you can do it is like this video. Please make sure you are subscribed to the channel. And we will start by talking about the first eclipse. And first, I will ask both of you if you are already feeling the energies of the eclipse. The first one is going to be a full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces. And Elena, that's very close to your ascendant. So I guess you should be feeling it. Are you already feeling the energies of the eclipse?
I feel like I need to release. It is a time for me to release any karmic pattern, past lives that I'm still having with me that I really need to get out. And that's going to be the big boom for that. That moment will be intense. I've been watching the prediction for September. And when I started to watch this show, I started to have like so many emotions. I was not able like to listen anymore, starting to cry. So I know that it's also like on the personal, but also on the collective. So I feel like there's going to be a big purge coming from the community, a big connection with the heart, being able to balance. Remember when we started this year, the eclipses season. So I feel like this is the end of everything that we went through. almost feel like it's like an end of the year, you know?
Mhm.
I feel
That
like
yeah.
it's a big celebration that we need to do after, right after all the the eclipses. We need to do something. The community get together, share personal things. I feel like there's something that we need to do. I'm channeling this
I
right
think
now.
you're so right. You're so on point because it's going to be, first of all, a full moon. So a full moon is a completion, as we know. It's time to release. It's the completion of a cycle. A full moon eclipse is like a full moon on steroids, like 3 times the power of a regular full moon. Plus, it's in the sign of Pisces, which is the last sign of the zodiac. So it's like an ending. And plus, as if wasn't enough already, we have the lunar eclipse. So the full moon lunar eclipse will be conjunct Neptune, the ruler of Pisces, which is also the planet of like the end of cycle. Let's say having done a whole cycle of evolution and coming back at the end to like merging with source, merging back with like let's say we finish a lifetime and then we're going back to source before we start another cycle. So not to say that we're done with this incarnation, far from it, but I feel like you're right when you say like it's going to be a big ending of a cycle, at least
Mhm.
not the year, but yeah, a big cycle is going to feel completed.
Yeah.
So do you feel the same about the first eclipse? Do you already feel the energies being so psychic? And what are
Yeah.
you feeling personally about it?
Yeah, so a little bit like what Elena was saying, that, we've been through sort of, I guess, a lot, like it's an ending of the year. A lot of my clients have been saying it feels like August has been 1 year squished into a month, which I've seen with a lot of people around. And it feels like a lot of, the retrograde energy that we've had helping with that and helping to finish things up, to get things pushed across the line, to tie off loose ends, but also really been feeling so greatly that need to connect to people on a physical level and community. And so I've got something happening with my potions where we've got a little group that we're getting together and going to be chatting, like video chatting and just meeting up, and actually doing a 16-hour manifestation thing where you like robotically affirm your affirmation over and over for 16 hours straight. So it really helps to shift on a quantum level, override any old programmings and things. So I kind of feel I'm starting to more get into the future stuff. And I've got a trip coming up to the States very, very shortly. So I can't wait for that. So I really feel I'm not really stuck in a lot of this other stuff. I'm already kind of invested in this new part of myself, which I feel is unfolding. And I just feel that there's a lot of freedom in that. And I just, yeah, I keep feeling like I'm dangling in the sky. Not that I'm not feeling grounded, because I am with all the meditation and things, but yeah, I just don't feel like I've been hit with the tsunami of things like a lot of people have at the moment. So I think
Yeah.
that's a lot to do with being really centered around some of the chaos that's unfolding.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, I feel like another way this could play out is that, as you said, being the end of a very tough cycle and letting go of like this old frequency or the old emotions attached to a certain phase that wasn't very easy. And the full moon is going to be between Saturn and Neptune. So Saturn is also, but it's behind the full moon lunar eclipse. So it's like sandwiched between Saturn, which is like the past challenges and the rough times, but also looking forward to Neptune, which is merging with source, this sort of unity consciousness energy, unconditional love, heightened psychic abilities, being able to also be in multiple dimension at once. And I think on that note, I think like the lunar eclipse in Pisces will be so intense, especially for psychic people, empathic people, because we have this like so much energies of having no boundaries. So it's like you're an open channel. Not to say that we're not an open channel normally, but I think it's going to be that much more open than usual. So I think it's a really good energy to get back to, like, let's say past life abilities that we've had before and that we wish to reintegrate, such as telepathy, telekinesis, and I believe, Sol, you are making a show about that on Friday. Can you talk about that?
So I remember texting you and just like a lightning bolt, spirits like showing psionic powers. So we're going to be talking about X-Men like abilities. We're also maybe going to be talking about a couple of experiments and things that you guys can try at home. I think this is also because I'm in Pisces midhaven. So this is part of what I'm supposed to bring to the world. And maybe that's why I'm feeling like I'm centered with all of this Pisces energy happening at the moment too.
Wow. And yeah, definitely. So that's very much on point, very timely of yours, Sol.
I just want to, sorry, Julie, I just wanted to mention, if you haven't watched the show that I did with Dr. Jonathan Reed last Friday, please go and check it out. It was almost 2 hours long. We've still got a few other shows that we need to do to really talk about the after meeting of Freddie, the ET, the alien that Jonathan has been in contact with the last 28 years. So we'll dive deeper into the technology of the link, the cuff bracelet, and into what he's learned through having contact with Freddie's elders and some of the council that he's met with. Incredible show. And yeah, I can't fit it into a minute. So please go and watch it.
Yeah, and I was going to say, I had that on my note on the side. That show was absolutely breathtaking, amazing, jaw-dropping. So if you haven't saw it, please click on this one. It's the Galactic Show, the most amazing ET case with Dr. Jonathan Reed and Sol. Sol, you did such a good job and like creating a safe space for your guests to be able to share so openly, so vulnerably what he had to share. And the story is, guys, amazing. So please check it out if you haven't already. And yeah, it's such an amazing story.
We did have to mention the comments have been disappearing from that, and also the views that it says on there are not accurate to what's actually happening in the background. So yeah, just to let you guys know, there is interest from other areas of the internet changing things up.
Yeah, Mel is saying it was an amazing show. Can't wait for the next ones. Yes, and there will be a follow-up, I believe, at least one. A lot of people are saying amazing show. And Sol, your interviews have been fire.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was such a good one. So check it out. And before, we never know what could happen with the video, but that is worth gold, especially on YouTube. So. And it's also on Rumble if you are more, let's say, used to using Rumble. Yes, Gisela is saying YouTube is playing with figures. Yes, that too. So yeah. And so yeah, that to say that we do appreciate so much, and now more than ever, your support with the likes, with the subscribes, with the shares, because we are kind of going countercurrent and battling like a huge machine that tries to shadow ban and censor some of, like, let's say, alternative content such as this video. So thank you so much, guys, for being here. We really appreciate you. Oh, thank you, Sema. Appreciate that. We love you, Solreta, and appreciate you, Julian and Elena, so much. Thank you. So let us know, guys. I will try to pop some of your comments if you have questions, and I wanted to put one of the here on the screen. So yes, Corbin, yeah, he says Star Wolf. Yes, indeed. There are 2 writers and one is Star Wolf. Very correct, for the Shamanic Mysteries of Peru. Very, very good. I didn't read the whole thing yet, but I'm keeping the last part for the plane. So, and he says I'm going to buy the book. Very, very good so far. Danae is saying, I've been feeling super tired lately. Could it be this energy upgrades and clearing out of the eclipse? Yes, definitely, definitely. So of course, it's not going to hit us, activate us in the same way, depending on our birth chart. So you can also look at where the sun is activating your chart at the moment, depending on your rising sign. But if you have a lot of, I noticed people who have a lot of Pisces in their chart seem to be feeling more affected than others. So I will also put on that Virgo. So if you have a lot of Virgo and Pisces, I noticed that a lot of people seem to feel like this kind of no boundaries type of energy. So feeling not only your emotions that seem to be really like high and low, but also other people's emotion. So you pull also on the unconscious, the collective unconscious. So very, I think it's very natural to be feeling more tired than usual. Also because a lot of transformation work is happening on subtle levels right now in order to prepare us for the eclipses. And I believe the September 17 will be sort of the peak of the purge. And then after allowing us to open up a new chapter for the next eclipse on October 2nd. Thank you, Danny, for that question. So did I hear someone or it was just an echo? No? Okay.
I heard an echo, I think.
Okay, all good. So let's first talk about the first eclipse, and I will ask you girls to comment on that, and then we'll pull questions from the chat. Oh, thank you so much, Lorianne. Appreciate that. Says Julie, your astrology show with Sophie were outstanding. Oh, thank you. Yes, we did put a lot of work, and I was sort of so far a little bit disappointed in the number of views. And I do understand that they're not necessarily reflect the real numbers. But if you are indeed interested in looking at your September predictions, we put like all of the activations for your sign. So, and we decided to try something new, divided it in 12 videos. So I took a little bit more time than usual, a lot more time actually, but we will see. It was an experiment. So we'll see. And I asked if you guys like this format or the old format better. We will see. Also, it is still, well, Mercury is going direct now. I was going to say it is still Mercury retrograde, but now we are moving direct. So yay, very happy about that. So yes, let's first talk about the first eclipse, and then I will ask questions to you girls about it. So this is the calendar that I created. It is a free download. If it's not already in the description box below, I will add it after the show. And we have, first of all, this new moon in Virgo, September 2nd, so in just a few days from now. And that's going to open officially the eclipse season because it's also going to be in the sign of Virgo. It's going to be a tough one, so I put a red light there. And 2 weeks later, in the same axis, we're going to have the first eclipse of the eclipse season, of the fall eclipse season. And it's going to be the first eclipse activating the Pisces Virgo axis of health, of service. So especially for people in this community, I think it's going to be very much of interest for you guys, because lots of changes are going to be made around our work, about our sense of purpose, about what we want to do, and also our psychic abilities. So the first one will be on September 17. It's a full moon lunar eclipse, partial lunar eclipse in the sign of Pisces at 25 degrees. It's going to be exact that night at 10:34 p.m. Eastern. And at the same time, we have a Mercury-Saturn opposition. So I'm not going to detail it too much here, but if you're interested into knowing more about it, I will put up a video shortly about this eclipse in particular, because there's so much to say and it's truly fascinating. But just to give you a little bit of the summary of what's going on. We have here, I was talking about the sandwich. So the moon is where you will find the lunar eclipse here, and it's opposing the sun. And what makes it an eclipse is the proximity of the nodes. And here in this case, we have the north node talking about our destined future. So it means basically that it's a huge purge of associated also with the past. So we're going to let go of a lot of weight that's been, let's say, standing on our shoulders, that's been burdening us. So we're going to let go of a lot of it in order for us to move to our north node. And then what's also super interesting about it is that it's a precursor of the huge transformation that we're going to experience starting in 2025, because the North Node, they move clockwise, while the rest of the planets move counterclockwise. And so the North Node will enter Pisces for a year and a half, starting in beginning of 2025. So that means that the South Node will enter Virgo on the other side. So for a year and a half, 2 years, let's say 2 years, everybody will undergo a huge transformation within the Pisces Virgo axis. And of course, it's going to be different for everybody because it's going to activate different houses for each one of you. But especially for this community, I think North Node in Pisces is going to be so important, because we're going to step into being the leaders, basically, of the new phase of evolution of humanity. And Pisces, and both Pisces and Virgo are the sign being in service to humanity, in service to greater causes. Pisces do it with the spirituality, being leaders in spirituality, leading with your psychic abilities. It can be, of course, QHHT, being an oracle, a mystic, all of that stuff. Meditation, of course, is Pisces, yoga. So there is a lot, I think, that speaks to all of us, especially with the North Node, but I think also the other side, and right now I'm talking about the beautiful stuff, but Pisces is such a hard archetype to anchor down in the 3D that a lot of people oftentimes, let's say, try to shortcut the archetype of Pisces, because, let's say, Pisces at its best, and I talked about that in the video where I talk about the eclipse, it's like when you meditate and you get to that point where you're just one with everything and you have this expanded consciousness and you feel this peace and bliss at the same time. So it's the feeling of, like, let's say, the high of Pisces. So a lot of people want to experience that high, but they don't necessarily want to go through the inner work to get there and to get to meditation. At the beginning, meditating, it's not really easy and it seems hard. So they try to get shortcuts. And also the North Node can talk about getting shortcuts. And what's a shortcut to feeling that feeling of wholeness? Well, it can be drugs, it can be alcohol, it can be addictions, it can be trying to escape reality. So gaming, it can be just distractions in general that not allow you to be in the present moment. So I just want an attention here, but just to say that this is kind of what's coming in the next year. And this eclipse is a precursor of this energy that we're going to see unfolding. So I'll start with Sol. Maybe before I ask you on a personal level, maybe can we ask the cards, what will come up, let's say, for this community, or what kind of topics are going to be heightened at the moment of this eclipse in Pisces?
Yeah, I just saw the death card twice shuffling.
Wow.
Before closing my eyes. Okay. Let's have a look and see. And that was such a great explanation, Julie.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I love listening to a lot of different astrology, but I just feel that the way that you word everything and lay it out, I find I can personally apply it to my life so much better than any of the other astrologers out there. Yeah, you just put it into where I can apply it and make sense of it.
Mm-hmm. So that's the Virgo in me. Thank you so much.
I think also it helps to, whenever we're having an activation as well. And whenever, for me, when I'm starting to channel, when you're talking, it's okay, I'm starting to, right now, I feel like when you were talking, I was kind of dizzy because I felt like so many things were coming up, and I started to channel. So that's something that you do with your power.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. And yeah, I could talk for hours about astrology. I have to stop myself sometimes.
So I've got 6 cards that are laid out, which usually when Spirit gives me 6 cards, there's quite a story behind something. So I'll just feel into this before we flip them over. This is to do with deep learning is the core word that they're giving me around this. The other word that I'm seeing is emerging. So the vision that I'll describe is going from yellow, and then we're emerging into this blue color. So there's going to be a lot of healing come and a lot of knowledge and information come from whatever we've walked through over the last 2 years, especially. I do see some of it also going back to 8 years previously. So people might have been in different length cycles. So we're going to emerge with a lot more inner truth. What I'm also seeing is a reframing of knowledge. And I'm seeing it's like taking in new information that we might have heard for the last 10 years, but it's like right now it'll become the fit. So, sometimes we'll talk to people or we'll try and shift or move them towards what might be for what we see as their best and highest good. I feel like a lot of us are perhaps the advice and things we've taken in over the last couple of years, we're going to be applying it a lot more, is what Spirit's indicating. So I'll flip these over.
Can I just add something, Sol?
Yeah,
This
sure.
is so on point because you said 8 years ago, and it's exactly the last time we had eclipses in that axis was 8 years ago.
Okay.
Crazy.
Well, that makes sense because I saw
Mm.
2 years and then they bounced back to 8. So it's like maybe we're feeling it more intensely the last 2 years, like ready for this
The
change.
last 2 years was the axis we're in that was activated for the eclipses, and then 8 years ago was the last time it was activated.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh.
And I don't know if it's because of being in this Pisces and me having the Pisces midhaven. I also think it's doing like a lot more of the raw salads and things that we're doing at the moment. I just feel like really sharp and clear. And I know even in my readings and things with clients, there's a lot of people that are like, oh my God, this was even better than I expected with the information coming through.
Wow.
And just talking about different things. But yeah, we have really good cards for this. The words that Spirit is saying is it's not happening to us, it's happening for us. So it's a little bit of hindsight, say in a month or two, when we look back at this period of time, it'll be like, oh my gosh, thank God that happened now. So I feel like there's a lot of clearing out before we actually need it. It's like the tower moment. Even though we don't have tower moment card, thank God. But yeah, we have Queen of Disc and the Empress. So this is about like sitting in your power, maybe even being a little bit removed from some of the chaos, why it's happening and unfolding. Remember to nurture yourself. And also looking into, with the Empress being the Queen of Queens, she's actually quite humble. She's quite like full of fertility energy. So I would say this is also about creating what you want in this next 2-year space, because they are showing me that 2-year window going forth too, and to really kind of have your vision plan access with that. We do see a little bit of sneaky energy, and sometimes this is just distraction. It's people coming in when you've committed to doing something and they're tripping you up on your path. So with the 7, it really is to hold the line, to go after what you want. And I think, Julie, with your trip and what you're doing, I just keep feeling that energy amongst this, that it's setting you up for these next couple of years.
Oh.
We do have 2 Taurus energies, so success. And with this as well, these 2 cards for me, the Queen of Disc and also the Prince of Disc, are really where we're creating our reality from that 5D or from that quantum, and then we're bringing it in that way. So there's a lot of revision that's happening in the psychic and in the quantum field right now, and I'm just getting goosebumps. So I do feel like if there's ideas and things, how can we pull it down and take action on this? Because we do have this Taurus Earth energy come up, and then we have completion. So we're definitely completing that cycle. This is also about completing the cycle going forth for future. They're just prompting me to pick 2 cards from another deck. Hold on 1 second. There's something I want to clarify around future energy. They're clarifying with exactly the same card. So this is Venus and Aries with the Four of Wands. We know this is a spiritual marriage card. For me, it's about spiritual alignment. So there's some kind of alignment that we're tapping into for the next 2 years. So even though we're in the midst and it's just a small window, this is literally setting up the next 2 years. The other one we have is 2 of Wands. So 2 of Wands, this is another Aries energy. This is called the card of Dominion. And it's sometimes in the traditional deck where we see him with the 2 wands looking out over the lake, and it's almost like having the plot of land, but we need to step into the vision of what it is that we want to build on the land. So really looking at like where you want to be, what energies you want to be playing with the next 2 years. Two of Wands is also about duality. So with this spiritual alignment, how can you align with your higher spiritual self and perhaps not be pulled into duality, not be sort of pulled off your game as well, is really important to note with that.
Wow, thank you so much. So that resonates so much. And I'm going to get to you, Elena, in just a few seconds. She's like, okay.
Don't worry.
I read your thoughts. Thank you. That resonates so much, Sol, because this eclipse, the first one that we just talked about, September 17, the Pisces eclipse, is making a T-square to Jupiter. So oftentimes when you have a planet at T-square, it means decision time. It means we're at a crossroad and we have to decide. And Jupiter is very much about traveling, about relocating. Where do you want to set your roots? So it's like big decisions, but also decisions regarding the future. Jupiter is like your big vision of your future, your sense of purpose. So it really makes sense that we're not just planning for, let's say, the next month, but also for the next 2 years, and maybe even more than that. So that makes a lot of sense, what you were saying.
And I love it because you can clarify with the astrology, and I'm like, oh, okay. Because when I'm channeling, I don't always remember. I just actually wrote myself a note to go back to that point in the video to watch what came up in the cards, because I'm not here sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That was such a good message. And also I saw like a fairy, but we always see fairy in your background. But this one like was so slow. And she came like in front of your face a few minutes ago. I didn't want to interrupt you, but that was so interesting. I was thinking of like taking a screenshot just to go back and watch it.
I'll have a look and see if I can cut the video.
Yeah. Let me know, guys, in the chat if you saw this one. Okay, Elena, I wanted to ask you, because I think you're going to be sort of leading the way for this eclipse with your Pisces ascendant, and it's going to be so close to your ascendant. So what do you already foresee that you're letting go as far as past lives pattern? What kind of cycle are you closing? What do you want to share with us regarding that?
I honestly feel like going in the past life, it's gonna help us very much, because right now the energy are so intense. And even like Sol, you were talking and I was like getting like a bit dizzy because the energies are so strong. We're feeling it right away. Like the eclipses are like I'm feeling the energy, and I'm talking and I'm like, okay, it's not Mercury retrograde anymore. But it's like, I feel like we have so many things to say that we need to let go to be able to walk into our path, what we're supposed to be doing here. And we need to go get some information from our past life as well. Because right now, like you said, Julie, we're in the crossroad, and it is time to like feel our heart, feel like our emotion. Let go of any fear. Just go with your intuition and no fear. This is what I have to say. No fear, and let go of everything. And I know sometimes it is hard, but you're going through the right path, and it's time to do it now.
I love that also, because I feel like it's so much part of the energy of Pisces, which is of like letting go of any layer that is not who you are at your core. And who you are at your core is pure divinity, right? It's source itself, it's God. Mm-hmm. So if anything that is not like this sense of wholeness and divinity, and we're gonna feel like lots of layers who needs to go, I feel. And Pisces is about like getting back to who you are at your core. And is it just love? I think it resonates with us. Yeah.
And also I feel like whenever you're in that situation, I've been feeling a lot like, sometimes like I feel alone. But this is normal because it's part of the process. So just to be, for me, that's one of my fear. Like sometimes, like when I feel alone, like, okay, what's going on? But actually, I'm not alone. Like there's a lot of people, like this community, that we are feeling the same things at the same time. So whenever that happens, let's do a meditation, let's breathe, and just remember, yes, you are the owner of your path, but we are doing this together.
This is so beautiful because it's the illusion of separation that we're here to experience. That is, I think, like the biggest wound that we're experiencing in this lifetime on here on the earth in the 3D, is that especially if you're a star seed coming from other dimensions, higher frequencies, you're so used to feeling closer to source, that when you're here, it feels so dense and you feel like so separate from one another, that it's so easy to feel alone and feeling isolated and not understood. And I feel like it's going to be part of the eclipse because Saturn is going to be close to this lunar eclipse. So a lot of people could feel alone. And I think you gave the best advice whenever you have this feeling coming up. And also because you're Pisces rising. So also you're picking up from like the collective, what other people are feeling as well. And I feel like the best advice that you just gave is to meditate, and to also, you can take part, of course, in a group meditation, which could help with the feeling of not feeling alone. Because when you're connected to source, to your divinity, you're anything but alone. You're
Right.
whole, and you have a whole tribe of love and soul tribes surrounding you.
Right. And also something that is going on right now is that we're jumping into two dimension. So this is very, very hard for our soul, for our body. That's why we need to be even more grounded. And that's the energy of, like, I'm feeling that's the energy of the second eclipse, that it's coming, being able to balance everything. So that's why right now it's normal. The energy that we're having right now and being able to travel from another dimension to another, just enjoy the process. I know it's hard, but just enjoy.
Yeah. I think you put your finger on something very important and interesting. And I want to ask you, Sol, about your feeling on that, about this feeling of, let's say, being experiencing more than one dimension at a time, and also being, I don't know if we can say between timelines, or this idea that I also wanted to bring up with that eclipse is this idea of fate versus destiny. Like, what part of what's happening is fated, and what can we, let's say, change? Um, so many questions still, but I want to take your feedback on, let's say, the how we're feeling right now, going through this process of integrating more of our multidimensionality.
Yeah, I so resonate with what Elena is saying too, and especially with not only that reminder for when we feel alone, and so true what you said as well, Julie, with a lot of the star seeds feeling that way. I definitely find that with my gorgeous clients, that a lot of us do feel alone at times, and we can use flower essences to cycle through this. So, if you do need like that extra little bit of support, you can do the little sprays, like the little rescue remedy. This one's an Australian one, a bush flower, and it will just help kind of protect or shelter you emotionally while we're going through these transition times. So generally, they help cycle in about 2 weeks. They're really good. So if you take it morning and night, 2 weeks, it'll keep you uplifted and protected and surrounded while we're working through all of the emotional sludge. I'm noticing with my clients, we've got a lot of Six of Wands coming up and a lot of Six of Cups. For me, that is like timeline jumping. So there's a lot of anchoring new timelines, a lot of choosing new timelines. But with the astrology energy of the moment, I do feel like that it could kind of flip on a dime, is the word that Spirit said a couple of times this week, which is not one of my usual sayings. So it's to not be too kind of like held down or buckled down and invested in certain things having to happen a certain way. There's a flexibility type energy that we can channel with this Pisces, that we do need to have that adaptability, that go with the flow. And we see this within the Eight of Cups and the Nine of Cups. So with that, you've got the Eight of Cups where we're cut off from source, we're cut off from spirituality, we're maybe feeling alone in the world and feeling stuck and wanting that that break free type feeling or breakthrough. Whereas the Nine of Cups, we're imbued with that Jupiter energy and source, and we're flowing and we're running with that. We're realizing we're in that growth expansion stage. So I think that's where I want to put my attention and focus. And I'm just channeling this as we're talking. Spirit's just showing me the cards and I'm talking about them. So yeah, with this, we want to really expand and open to things that feel good, things that make us feel connected with source. And that will ultimately lead to these higher timelines and paths, because if we're concentrated and we're focused on what's going wrong, what's, pulling us down, what's keeping us stuck, we're going to have more of that. So we really need to tap into what connects us to source, what connects us to higher self.
So interesting what you're saying, Sol, because and we're going to present the activations that we're going to do for the eclipses in just a few minutes. But when I was doing the preparation with Elena, I pulled some cards, some oracle cards, and I asked our guides to tell us what kind of work did we need to do, like especially this community for the eclipses, what's going to come up. And so I have to share it because it's so in line with what you just thought, what you just said. So the first one was Earth School, and it says life lessons, soul growth, study, higher learning. So yes, we do know that we're living the ups and downs of the earthly school right now. The second one was At a Crossroad. So it says decisions, let your heart guide you. And you were talking about this choice of timeline that are moving as we speak, that are very, let's say, on the move, as if we can say. We need to remain flexible. And the other one was I Remember, and it says soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. So like what I get from that is that there are a lot of choices that needs to be made, maybe not just like practical choices, let's say, do I need to go left or right, but also in terms of frequency, as you were kind of saying, there is like a multitude of paths opening up. And that's so much in line. I just thought about something in the astrology with Jupiter and Gemini. So Jupiter is the multiplicity, Gemini is also multiplicity, and it's the planet at the center of this decision making in the eclipse, in the first eclipse. So it's like there's so many paths in front of you. Which one are you going to choose? And it's like, to me, and I want to take your opinion on this, girls, but to me, it's like we're no longer doing a thing on an nomadic level, like as like, let's say, being a victim of fate or a victim of circumstances, but you're now using the, like, being in the flow with the energies in order to create something that's in line with you, but like more on the higher frequency timeline. Does that make sense, Sol? And then I'll ask Elena.
Yeah, and I can just see Ocean's comment as well. You all make the universe a better place. And that's what I was just feeling as you were talking about that. We're not going through this alone anymore. We have this beautiful Maison Jupiter community that's just holding us in this bubble of protection. So we are all going through this together. And when you were talking about the different planets with Jupiter and with the sign Gemini, I just kept feeling it's like this heart energy. And what we need to do to distinguish between what I was talking about with the 8 and the 9 of Cups and this Pisces energy is, are we choosing things through fear or through scarcity? And it's really time to step into this high, and what lights your heart up will actually shine on the path. So that's how you'll know. That's going to be your compass to get through this next little stage. What lights your heart up? as Marie Kondo says, what sparks joy? Feeling into, okay, I'm going to feel into this option. Oh, it's making my heart feel so charged and so amazing. And that's how you'll know.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. So beautiful. Elena, what's your take on this? How do you feel we can, let's say, make the best decisions? And also, I wanted to ask you, because you're the Pisces rising queen, and there's going to be so much water for that eclipse, the first one that is. What's also like, what would you advise all of us, and especially me, who doesn't have a lot of water in their chart? How can we best deal with like that overflowing energy of water, of emotions coming up?
I feel like we need a lot of protection. First of all, connect with your heart. If you feel that you need like to ground yourself, go outside, go connect with nature, and just like lay down, connect with your heart, like open like your energy, like good energy. And also one thing is like when we are going to bed, we need to protect even more ourselves. If you feel like you're missing water as well, put some water on both sides in your bed, and also crystals to protect even more yourself when you're sleeping. You can match a bit before going to bed, because when you're sleeping, I mean, you need to protect yourself.
You're very vulnerable. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting because Pisces rules dreaming and sleep also. So
Wow.
this is when you're most open and vulnerable in terms of channels.
Exactly. And I feel like, like the 2 weeks of the eclipses are going to be like, when it's Christmas and it's like 2 weeks before Christmas, everybody's like running around. So I feel like we need to cool down and really protect ourselves, and just be like, even if the energies are like so fast, let's like really take the time to walk. When we walk, like really take the time to like do step by step and looking around with joy, but also with protection.
Yeah, that's a really good advice, especially when there's so much energy of Pisces, Neptune, the moon. So like everybody's like out here open. It's like going to a spiritual festival with no protection.
Exactly. And for me, my Pisces is very, very strong, so I can handle those type of energy with doing my protection, of course. But for other people, it must be like harder, because like you said, Julie, like, what can I do? Like, because the energies are so intense. So I feel like for you, you're gonna feel even more the energy that I'm gonna feel the energy. So even it's very important, the water, the crystals, protection, and just like do a little ritual before going to bed.
Yeah, that's a really good advice. And Jody is saying, I feel the connection with our community also in a bubble, so a bubble of protection. I'm assuming I use my tarot and oracle cards to feel peace. I love that, Jody. And also on that same, let's say, trend, on that same train of thoughts, we felt guided to offer 2 meditations for the eclipses to gather everybody, let's say, in the community, to also amplify this energy of feeling protected in our little community bubble, but also to choose the highest timeline possible for us, personally speaking, and also for, let's say, putting an intention for the collective out there. And we will do both. So we are releasing right now the eclipse season activations. So these ones are going to be called Between Fate and Destiny. So we are re-empowering ourselves. We are letting go all the layers that don't belong anymore to who we are truly, and also choosing the higher timeline possible and manifesting like the best for us. So I believe we don't need to always be experiencing like very traumatic experiences in order to grow. So I do hope that those eclipses and those activations will help us into choosing. Of course, there's going to be lessons moving forward, but if we have more consciousness and elevated frequency, we can, I think, live, let's say, easiest type of experiences where everything flows because we're in the flow as opposed to countercurrent. So that's the goal of astrology. When we work with it, we work, and also of course the cards, so we try to be in the flow with the energy. So it's part of the work that we're going to do. The 2 activations will be on the exact days of the 2 eclipses to get the most power in the portal of energies. So the first one is September 17th, second one October 2nd. Of course, you're going to be able to join live. And if you're not available live, they're going to be available also on replay to do and redo if you feel the need to do them again. And we have an early bird promo right now from now until September 13th. So for a couple of days, less than 2 weeks, I believe, or a little about 2 weeks. So we have a 25% off with the code DESTINY. So don't forget this code. Elena, what are we going to do? Yeah, Jake is saying, so excited for the activations. Me too.
Me too.
I think we're going to do like really profound work. Elena, how do you feel? And what were you guided to do there?
I feel very excited because, like I said, I feel like it's like the end of the year. We've been working a lot since the beginning of the eclipses season in March. Remember, a lot of purge. We did a lot of activation since then. And I feel like now it's like the crossroad and we need to choose our destiny. We need to remove, like, I'm repeating myself a lot because I feel like it's important whenever I'm saying something like more than twice. There's an activation that it's going on and we need to get free and we need to get out like any fear that doesn't belong to us. So we're going to be traveling a lot into our old generation, something that doesn't belong to us anymore, that we don't need, and also to go get some tools that we used to have from other past life as well, to be even stronger and activate even more our intuition and connect with the heart.
Wow, you're saying that and I'm getting chills all over my body. I feel like it's going to be so profound, and all the cards that we were pulling. It's still, I still can blame it on Mercury retrograde-ish because we're in the post shadow right now. All the cards we were pulling seem to be around the theme, and the astrology also points to that, of being at a crossroad of like existential decisions, and not only like practical stuff, as I said, but also our frequency. Soul, what can we ask the cards, like what kind of work will be done for those activations?
Yeah, and I love your work. I love the poster. Elena just looks so gorgeous in that.
Thank you.
Let's see what comes up. Already, we just had a Page of Cups and a King of Cups come out. So with this, we can see here, look at this one around nature. This just reminds me of what Elena was saying before about connecting in with the heart and just to, lay on the ground outside, connect in with nature. But what we're seeing is an upgrade. So we're really going from this Page of Cups into anchoring King of Cups energy. We know with the Kings, they're definitely more active and they're more focused on actually getting the things done. Whereas with the Queens, they're a little bit more passive. So it does look like that it's making the time. It's not just sort of going, right, yeah, I'm just going to connect and think about it. This is actually where we're taking the time to stop, to really make a movement or a commitment to doing this activation. Now, what comes from it? Let me just see. We've got the Death card, which we know maybe this is also to do with some of the Pluto energy and a bit of rebirth. And we have 10 of coins. So it's really important that we're doing this together as a community. This is a big part of this transformational process. There's more energy and power to come in doing it collectively together. We do have the Hermit card, so we're still doing it individually in our homes, and then King of Wands. So spiritual transformation coming from this. Let me just hold up these cards.
Wow, this seems really profound. I love that.
It's powerful. It's going to be a powerful one. And you can feel it, like Elena was saying, it's like, the end of the year is what it kind of feels like, this huge, like Christmas energy. It feels like a big event. And yeah, I also just am like seeing that there's ripple effects with this. So it's like holding a container, holding a space, but there's an on-flow effect into I guess Spirit's giving me the word wider universe. So I was going to say into the planet, but Spirit's actually saying this is about connecting into flowing this energy out into the wider universe. So it is a ripple effect out galactically too.
Wow, I'm speechless. Wow. Okay, so that makes a lot of sense that we're being called to unite all forces, all light workers, star seeds. So please join us. I think it's going to be super powerful. Again, Between Fate and Destiny, I think was the right title for this one. We are gathering all our forces in order to, like you said, Soul, I love the idea of the ripple effect into other galaxies, solar systems, or planetary systems, shall I say. Yeah. I'm not surprised at all. Yeah. I'm not surprised, but I'm like mind blown right now. And yeah, I think that makes sense. Also, Mel is saying galactic family reconnection is what I'm feeling.
Yeah,
that makes a lot of sense, Mel.
and it's like we're putting the call out, but we're actually being heard. So I do wonder if there's also going to be a lot more ET interaction, or a lot more, signs from the veil being very thin.
Okay, that's interesting you say that, because I'm thinking about the astrology of the two eclipses. And first one, Pisces is, well, Aquarius is more connected to ETs as we know them, but Pisces is like other dimensions. So it can be all beings living in other dimensions. Outside our known universe would be Pisces, because it's no boundaries. So it's outside the boundaries that we know. So there could be a lot of ET activities, especially for the first eclipse. And the other thing I was thinking about is that it makes a T-square, the first eclipse, to Jupiter. And Jupiter is the planet of help, and it's the planet of our guides. So I feel like the call is being heard even more whenever there's like a lot of tension on Jupiter. And I said in the video that I just made for the eclipse that it's going to be premiering soon, I said to ask our guides for help and so putting out like a call of intention, and especially when we're doing it together, we know that it amplifies so much our voices, because we're using the collective voices, and Pisces is what unites us all together. So I'm seeing like this huge grid of energy that will be so much activated. And I feel like it's going to help us move in the direction of the timeline we want for. And as I said, we're going to make an intention for ourselves, personally speaking, but also for humanity, for the planet. So we're going to use all the energy of us working together in order to make it a better world. So I'm very excited about this. Elena, did you have something to add to the guidance you receive, or something you wanted to share about the activations?
You were talking about receiving help. I would suggest also go into, I'm just going to speak a bit about like feng shui. We need like the help, so go on the right side when you are opening your house, on the right side, and go put like a green crystal, and ask for help right there, or just do a little breathing, or you can do your meditation right there, because I feel like there's a message that we can get from this place in your house.
This is where I decided to put my Ganesh tattoo is in my help corner. I was like, I need help to remove blockages right now. I love that. Thank you, Elena. So when we enter our home, by the main entrance to the corner that is to our right. That's
exactly.
Okay. I realize we have so much to say. I just wanted to touch briefly on the second eclipse, because I feel like it's going to loop everything all together. I'm going to sum it up, but of course I'm going to make a separate video for this one, because it is so interesting. You're going to see. So I don't know if you, well, I think a lot of you were part of the eclipse that we did early this year in March. That was the Libra eclipse activation. We were live from DR. That was a super powerful activation. So that was the first one in the series of this axis of Libra and Aries. So we had eclipses from last year in the sign of Libra, and in that axis of Libra and Aries until the end of this year. So when we get to October 2nd, this is the last eclipse in the sign of Libra. And then in 2025, we're going to have the last one in Aries. But this one is the last eclipse in Libra before the next 9 years. So we are completing the transformation within who we are as an individual, but also what we want our relationships to look like. And look at this eclipse. We have a party of points and planets here in the sign of Libra. So here it's a new moon, this time a new moon solar eclipse with the south node, with black moon Lilith, with Mercury, all in the sign of Libra. So this is going to be super powerful. So, and I think to complete the cycle of eclipses in Libra, I think this is so fascinating that it's a new moon, not a full moon. So we're not completing something, we're opening up a new door for a healthier relationship, more balanced, but also a more balanced inner divine feminine and inner masculine. And we have black moon Lilith here. So exactly conjuncting this eclipse, this solar eclipse. And a solar eclipse is more like a masculine energy. And black moon Lilith wants to some equality for within the divine feminine and divine masculine. And the ruler of Libra is Venus. So we have a lot of this polarity, and the 10th degree is the degree of Capricorn, which is the divine masculine. So as you can see, we have a lot of both energy within this combination, and I feel like it's going to allow us to open up a whole new cycle with a lot more harmony, love, and healthy, balanced relationship, but also a healthy give and take within two people or two organization or two polarities within oneself. And the last thing I wanted to say on that is that it's making a grand trine between Venus, Mars, and Saturn, and it's a grand water trine. So again, this idea of being in the flow, but also reconciling the masculine and the feminine polarities, but also making it stronger so that we have a common goal altogether for humanity, but also it can talk about relationships and long-term planning within relationships. So I'm going to ask you, Elena, and then I'm going to ask you, Sol. Elena, what do you think when you look at this eclipse, what kind of transformation process do you think we have been making since the last activation in Libra and coming to this powerful, let's say, series of activation with the last one in Libra being a new moon eclipse?
First of all, I wanted to say, looking at your chart and everything, it really feels like Christmas. And it's a big celebration.
Yeah.
I feel like we cannot miss all these energies that are, everything is linked for us to get even more power. And you said, when is the last time that we're going to be feeling the energy of like the cycle of the eclipses for Libra?
Well, this is the last eclipse in Libra, but to complete the axis of Libra and Aries, we have another one early in 2025 in Aries. So this will complete for good the axis of Libra and Aries.
Wow, that's very, very, very intense. I feel like we will step even more into our power and be like more like, not in, like, let's say the fears that we're getting, I feel like we're not going to have the veil anymore. Like the veil is going to be so thin, no veil. Walk together as a community as well, being able to do the work together will make it so much like powerful as well.
I love that. That's beautiful. I love the idea of celebration also. I think in line. So I believe you have your moon in Libra, so you're going to be very much in the center of that celebration for this eclipse.
And it's funny because I just realized the connection with why Spirit was telling me in the 3-card pick this week. We had there was looking into ourselves on a deeper soul level was what Spirit guided me. And they told me to do, it was our Venus sign. Black Moon Lilith was the other sign in the midhaven. So we were looking into one of those signs represented each of the 3 cards. So interesting. It's like Spirit's preparing us and trying to get us to say, look, this is what we need to work on right now. But yeah, I've got my Black Moon Lilith, I've got Libra Moon, all in the 5th house. So, and I think there was something else, maybe Mars in there as well. So it's really, yeah, I'm like, is this something to be scared of, or is this something that Spirit's just reminding me? No, just center in the heart. All of the choices, decisions will, just come up. So I do feel the message we got from the cards before is really preparing this lead up to this. And yeah, I just think with what you were saying about that being the last cycle, was it for 7 years? Until we have the next one?
So the next time we're going to have eclipses in Aries and Libra will be in 9 years.
Wow. Okay. So it sounds like it's setting up for something quite big.
Yeah. And if we can end on that, Soul, can we ask the cards, why are we preparing for this big, like, new chapter in Libra, this solar eclipse in Libra on October 2nd? Why are we being prepared up to that point?
Yeah, the main message and word that I'm hearing is soul. So SOUL, not my name. So I keep hearing and feeling this energy of it's our souls that are being prepared for something. So the other image that I'm seeing at the same time, it's like, if we're doing that work and we're really connected with our souls, everything that happens and unfolds on Earth will not be a surprise. It will not be sort of a dramatic shock. So I do feel there's things that are changing within dynamics, within, like, on a collective or a worldly level. But then I also feel that there's things changing within our own individual level. So I'll flip these cards over. So we have a Knight of Coins, the Lover's card, 3 of Cups, and 2 of Coins. So I do feel for some people, this is relationship stuff that's coming up to be revisioned. So we might see some shakeup with all of those different planetary energies in the relationship sector, and also to do with, like, sexuality too. And that was coming up a little bit in the 3-card pick, to do with the Black Moon Lilith. So this is actually an invitation to dive deeper in on the soul level, to learn more about yourself, to learn more about your body, and to really kind of flow this energy that we've had to hide in the past. So this is almost to bring it out, to hold it proudly. I know all of us girls love dance. This is a perfect way to tap into some of these energies. So yeah, Knight of Coins. I love this version of the Lovers. It's so beautiful. And then we have the Witches around the 3 of Cups. So abundance energy. It's to bring the heart, the intuition, and mind together. And 2 of Coins. It's portal energy. So I do feel there's deeper things that will be open to us if we really focus and connect on a soul level. This is how we open that portal of change. So remember what Spirit was saying before, it's happening for us. So we really need to kind of surrender into this as well.
And what better way to surrender but to meditate and join together with this beautiful community. So one last time before we end the show, don't forget to enter code DESTINY to get 25% off. This is the early bird promo until September 13. And last thing I wanted to say here, we still have a couple of days for this launch promo. So we did a huge 50% off discount for the tarot course that Sophie just put together. We have really, really good comments so far. Really, and let's say a fast forward, easy course if you'd like to learn how to read the cards. And she based it on many different tarot decks, so you can have visual cues into learning how to read tarot cards and also answer any kind of questions. So your code will be tarot50 to get 50% off, and that's until September 1st, so until Sunday only. And last thing, I keep saying last thing. I just wanted to share with you guys, tomorrow we're going to have a double header. So the Pick a Card Thursday by Sophie at noon p.m. Eastern, so 12 p.m. Eastern. And at 7 p.m., I made a video on the Virgo new moon astrology. So you don't want to miss that. I think it's going to be super interesting. I had a lot more to say than I thought. So go check it out. It's going to prepare you. This is kind of a tough energy for this new moon, but I give you all the important cues and advice on how to flow with the energy in the best way possible, since I'm a Virgo, so I know what I'm talking about. And Friday, we're going to be live with Elena, and we're going to do a Virgo new moon astrology and activation. So join us over there. It's going to be at 2:30 p.m. Eastern this week, because children are starting school. So a little bit of a different schedule. So 2:30 p.m. Eastern for the live new moon astrology and activation. So join us over there. And at 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have the fantastic galactic show with the beautiful Soul. And stay tuned, because she's going to be talking all about what we're going to be developing for the next eclipse in Pisces. So all of our psychic senses. And Soul, I don't even know how to pronounce this word. So can you tell me how to pronounce this?
Yeah, so it's called psionic. So things that we would have seen would be like Uri Geller with the spoon bending, moving things, telekinesis, moving things with our mind, perhaps even influencing the wind, different elements. Cloud busting would be another one. Working with telepathy. So yeah, we're going to get into exciting topics. And I just wanted to say happy birthday to you. I know it's a little bit early, but I'm just excited for you to do your trip too.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you, Soul.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you, guys. And someone asked me in the chat if it was September 3rd or 2nd. It's the 3rd, but this year my solar return falls on the 2nd. So sometimes your solar return will be exact a day before or a day after. So that's the case with me. It's exactly on the new moon at 11 degree Virgo. So I'm going to be like living out this energy of the Virgo new moon for the next year. I don't know if I'm excited about that, because it's kind of a tough one, but we'll make it work, because I'm used to be a hard worker. And I just put up the video, which is going to air, tomorrow. And I named it Hard Work Required for the new moon in Virgo. But thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Soul. And thank you, ladies. Thank you, Gisela. I think it's going to be interesting. And I can't wait to share with all of you my trip details. I think it's going to be I feel like life-changing. I want to say this is the word that came to mind.
Wow.
And I'll try to take... I'm sorry, Soul?
Oh, I just keep hearing Spirit say transformative. I just keep seeing you being like this shaman emerge out of the jungle.
Wow.
Is the vision I keep seeing. So I can't wait for you to share your wisdom.
Yeah, I can't wait. And I'll try to take as many videos as I can to be sharing with all of you when I come back. Thank you so much, ladies. Love you and love spending all this time with you, and love you all who gathered within the community. And if you're watching this on replay, that we're extending this love out to you. And join us this Friday. We will be live at 2:30 and at 8. And until then, have a beautiful rest of your week, everybody. Bye-bye.